705 Davis Street is a 100-year-old condo building where the old galvanized pipes are failing. The challenge: there are no wood walls to run new pipe. The solution, as you'll see, Neil Kelly. They are searching for pipes, water pipes that have been nestled in the walls of the Davis Street condo for 100 years. They are galvanized supply and waste pipes that have served the residents of this Northwest Portland condo well. But they are pipes that are starting to fail.
We'd had two or three, I've lost count now, catastrophic leaks downstairs. I was there when it happened. It was a terrible mess to clear up.
Here we've got where the original supply lines to the bath vanity on the other side of this wall, you can just see where the galvanized pipe has been set directly into the masonry.
Byron Keller is a design builder for the Neil Kelly Company. He and his crew and subcontractors have been searching and replacing failing pipes on the Davis Street condos for several months.
All the walls, whether it's an exterior wall or an interior wall, are all done in solid masonry. Now, when I say that, I mean it's a terracotta. It's got some voids in it, and some of it's filled with mortar, but it's all masonry, and then the masonry is just plastered over. So all the electrical, all the plumbing, all of that, the heating pipes, all of that stuff is buried into that masonry. So the only way to get to it is with an angle head grinder and a vacuum and a lot of plastic dust protection, and make just an invasive, tremendous mess. Well, you can actually see where they've bored through the concrete and the holes and the chases they've created so they can get up into the next unit above. Right up there. And you can see where they've drilled down, and that's where they'll fish some of the pipes up through the concrete to get up there. But you can also see the concrete columns and the concrete supports here.
Here's what makes this project stand out. It is one thing to embark on a project of this magnitude if everyone moves out and workers have access to every pipe in every wall at any time. But that wasn't going to happen. Couldn't happen, really, at Davis Street. With the key cooperation of the Davis Street Homeowners Association, Neil Kelly is able to replace these water-laden time bombs while residents reside.
Everything we're doing is all hidden. I mean, granted, they're going to have, they do have better water flow, they have better water pressure, but the reality is all this work is buried and hidden, and all you're really gaining is a bunch of peace of mind. So that's a tough one for people to really be comfortable doing, and typically, typically people would be pretty grumpy about that. But in this case, it's worked really well, mostly because we've had such great cooperation from the owners, all the team members, from the plumber to the plasterer, the painters. Everybody's worked really well together, and it's that collaboration that's made this really a success. So I'm really grateful that we were able to establish this relationship with all the partners and all the team players.
So we want to cover every inch of possible exposed floor.
Anywhere workers will walk, everywhere they work, floors are protected, banisters are covered. It's a 100-year-old building, and it has to look as good at the end of the project as it did in the beginning.
But we know we can take it apart, we know we can put it back, and it's all to Neil Kelly specs and standards, and that's a very good thing.
The supply lines in this building are sort of like struts of an umbrella. Water is circulated to the top floor, and then piping cascades down into the units. It is a circulating system. When they're done, the crews will have replaced the equivalent of 15 football fields worth of pipe. There's an interesting bit of history involving the Davis Street condos. Originally named the Wana Apartments, this building was constructed in 1912 as a reaction to something that had happened over 600 miles away. 5:52 Wednesday morning, April 18th, 1906. Downtown San Francisco starts to sway. Within minutes, a massive earthquake shatters the city and starts in motion a series of events that will kill more than 3,000 people. The quake didn't cause most of the devastation. It was the ensuing fires that did the most damage. The wood-framed, wood-clad buildings went up like matchsticks. That fire changed the way buildings were built, and Portland would be no exception. That's why this building was built almost entirely without wood. It is fire resistant, and built with earthquakes in mind.
Oh, it's way ahead of its time in that way. And then if you look at the quality of the fit and the finish on many of the units, very clearly some of the two-story units and some of the single penthouse units were finished in magnificent mahogany and the great woodwork and the big sliding pocket doors and all those really classic features of these great old houses are in this building. So to preserve that, I think, is important and just a lot of fun.
This unit in particular has seen 2 catastrophic pipe failures during the past 4 years, but now it is stunning and stately and dry. You would never know the work was ever done.
If you'll notice up here at the ceiling, there's a crown detail. Now that's all plaster. That's not wood. They have a mold that they run along and they create this, it's a form, and they create this plaster detail in place. So though you can't just cut those out and make up a piece of wood and put it back together. This kind of detail is certainly classic to the building and a challenge. I mean, a real challenge, and the right people to do that kind of work is important.
Neal Kelly subcontractors had to remove asbestos from the walls as well. They even hire an independent testing contractor to double check that no asbestos is leaching out into space. By the time they're done, this bedroom will look the same as it has for 100 years.
There's just a lot of pride in being able to do this type of work and have people be happy with it. And so far, all the owners have been very happy with what we're doing.
We looked at this project not as a commercial job. We looked at this as 20 individual residential jobs that all had to be coordinated together, that had to be tied together. Now, we answer to the board. At the same time, it's really important to understand that you're working in somebody's home and people didn't leave. So the collaboration between the engineer, the tradesman, the modern plumbing and Burl Slaughter plastering and those key people, the painter, that's really what's made this work so well.
20 different owners in this building, trying to manage all our wants, likes, dislikes, all the rest of it must have been a nightmare. But to me, just in the time they've been in this corner of the building has been excellent, really superb. It's been not an experience we wanted to go through. There was a lot of debating, meetings with owners before this ever happened, and I'm just speaking for myself, we didn't want this to happen at all. The invasiveness, the cost of it and all the rest of it, but for what it is, it's been a very, very good experience, I would say. And I thank Neal Kelly for that.